welcome from the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, home to the Canadian Grand Prix, for today's qualifying session. The Canadian Grand Prix has been dominated over the years by Ferrari, McLaren and Williams. They have over 30 wins between them, so I expect a good showing from all of those teams here again today.
That's true, but Mercedes have such a strong package this year, it would surely be a mistake to rule them out of a chance of winning. However, Montreal is a very different type of circuit though, where you have to run the lowest downforce settings of the season so far. It's also extremely hard on brakes, so it's all to play for in today's session.
Hello guys and welcome to Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix here in this F1 2015 career mode. Kimi Räikkönen always riding on board with the Iceman here, and we are just gonna get ready for the first qualifying session here today. Didn't do too many laps in practice here, really didn't need to. I know this track very well, and usually I do kind of all right here, I guess. Obviously it's going to be difficult today with the two Mercs being so faster, and obviously the Williams cars having pace as well. But our first lap here, 1:16.747. We're going to be staying out for an additional lap here at the very least, just to make sure that we get into Q2 without too much hassle here. We should easily have another second and a half in us here. We did a 114, high 114s there in the practice session on the option tire with a low fuel load there, simulating a qualifying stint there. So shouldn't be too much of a problem here. 1:16.08 here, and that should be enough to get us into Q2 without any hassle. And it is in 9th spot though, but still enough to get us into Q2.
Been knocked out in Q1.
Jumping straight into Q2 here, this is going to be our second lap. As you can see here, conditions have changed quite dramatically here, and that is really bad news for us as we are running a next to no drag setup here. So we are really having trouble in these conditions here, and we are way off the pace here. We are going to be coming in a 1:34 straight, and that is nowhere near good enough to get us into the shootout here. So we're just going to be parking the car and see where it takes us on the grid there. And as you can see, not even in the top 12 there. We end up in P15 here. Obviously not exactly what we were hoping for here today, but whoa, are we going to have our work cut out for us tomorrow here. There's going to be a load of spots to make up here. And I just hope that we won't be seeing any more rain here this weekend.
Gilles Villeneuve. The grandstands are filling up nicely, and there was a real buzz around the paddock this morning that today's race could be a cracker. Here's today's pole sitter, Lewis Hamilton. When I was speaking to him early on, I got the sense that he has total confidence in himself and his Mercedes car to take that race victory today.
He's definitely best placed to go on and win today's race. On top of that, strategy and car performance is always easier to manage from the front than it is further down the field.
It was a disappointing race last time out for Lewis Hamilton. He needs to bounce back today. In the pre-race interviews, he's been talking a lot about the importance of mental strength and not dwelling on problems and bad performances.
Lewis can wear his heart on his sleeve and at times is led by his emotions. I think since his move to Mercedes though, he's showing a greater level of maturity, which is helping him become more consistent in his performances.
So anyway, here we are on the grid, getting ready for the start here of the Canadian Grand Prix. I'm actually a little bummed that we ended up way down here on the grid because I was feeling very good about the car and the setup here during practice. We were very much on the pace, and I actually had a slight hope that we might be able to build on our Monaco success there where we managed to take the win there, but not so. We are starting in P15 here, right behind Carlos Sainz here. 5 red lights, we end up getting off the grid there. Max Verstappen gets a very slow start, pretty much standing still there. Carlos Sainz moving down the inside of him. We go for a little bit of a dive bomb there, going down the inside of Verstappen there, but Carlos Sainz just closes us off as we make up one position here into turn 1. And as we have Verstappen right on our rear wing here coming into turns 3 and 4. It's actually a bit of a chicane there, but we are gonna see if we can't move down the inside here of Carlos Sainz, moving into turn 6 and 7 there. We actually managed to not only peg Carlos Sainz, but also, I believe it was Felipe Nasr and one of the McLarens there. I'm not really sure who that was, as we almost lose a car here coming out of turn 7, but we are running in P9 here on lap 1, making up 6 positions already. Definitely happy about that. Coming out on the casino straight here, hopefully we're going to be competitive with the AI here on the long straight, as we are running a next to no downforce setup here today just to take advantage of this particular section. And obviously, by the looks of it there, at least we're keeping Nasr behind us, but that's a Sauber. That's not really an indication here. Skipping ahead to lap 3 here, we have Ericsson and Kvyat duking it out here, coming through the chicane onto the main straight here as we try to go down the inside of both cars here. We have a yellow flag situation further up the track here, and coming into turn 1, it appears that Sebastian Vettel has parked his car right there on the side of the track there, having spun, or worse, because we have debris lying around on the track there. I'm not sure whether or not that actually came from Vettel's car, but let's have a look and see what happened here. Looking at the replay again here, Vettel was having a look down the inside on the finishing straight there. Rosberg almost losing the back end of the car here, coming out of the turn, and by the looks of it here, Vettel tries to go down the outside of Rosberg, and obviously he closes the door, and an ill-fated move on Sebastian Vettel's part there, and he ends up paying the price for it. Anyway, skipping right ahead to lap 12 here, we find ourselves in a sort of virtual Red Bull sandwich here, as we have Ricciardo about 12 seconds up the track from us right now, Kvyat about 4 seconds down on us, and by the looks of it here, not too much going on at the moment here. It's been a very quiet race so far here, not too many incidents, except for the one that we just saw involving Sebastian Vettel there. Jumping ahead to lap 27 here, still a very uneventful race so far. Only thing really going on at the moment here is that we are lapping Mary here, and Massa seems to have been overtaken by Ricciardo up the track there. Kvyat still about 4 seconds down on us at this point here, so not too much to talk about at this moment here. The car's handling absolutely beautifully, and the tires are feeling pretty good still. Skipping ahead to lap 33 here, we are coming in for our first and hopefully only pit stop off this race. Switching to the prime tire there, I actually managed to get an extra lap out of the option tires there. We're feeling absolutely great all along, and I probably could have gotten more out of them. I just didn't want to risk a puncture here, but we rejoin the track here behind Felipe Massa, still in P6 here. Skipping right ahead to lap 40 here, it appears that Felipe Massa and Ricciardo are switching places once again ahead of us here. A brief yellow flag period. I'm not really sure what that was all about there, but given the fact that it seemed that Ricciardo was quite a long ways ahead of Felipe Massa at some point there, we just passed some red debris on the casino straight here, and I'm not really sure whether or not that could have been pieces of a Red Bull. And as we can see there, we have cars in the pits, 3 to be exact there. And wouldn't you know it, Daniel Ricciardo appears to be one of them as we advance 1 spot here as we pass the pit lane going into P4 there. And it actually appears that Ricciardo is coming out right behind us if you look at the mini-map. But still, we managed to make up that position there. And given the fact that he's probably going to be out on the option tire there, and he's going to be much faster than us here for the remaining 19 laps, we're probably going to have our work cut out for us. Jumping right ahead to lap 42 here, we're actually making up ground on Felipe Massa as we are currently catching him by about a second a lap here. And jumping to lap 47, it appears that we now have Bottas in P4 rather than Felipe Massa, meaning Massa must have overtaken Bottas at some point there, as he is now running in P3. And it'll be interesting to see why that is and whether Bottas is going to be slower than Massa. And unbeknownst to us at this time here, about 20 seconds up the track, we have Jenson Button and Valtteri Bottas getting involved in an altercation here coming out of turn 9. And this is one of the huge bugs in F1 2015, the fact that back markers just don't seem to get out of the way for the race leaders there, because obviously what the hell is Jenson doing there? Ends up putting both cars into the wall there because he does not give way for Bottas, who is about to lap him, or whether Jenson is trying to unlap, and I'm really not sure. Either way, he has no business being there, and he ends up putting Valtteri Bottas into the wall and handing us a free spot here.
Situation changes, we'll let you know.
Skipping right ahead to lap 58 here, we've managed to make up a lot of ground on third place Felipe Massa. He's only about 15 seconds up the road from us right now. Daniel Ricciardo, we are still keeping pace with him. He is not catching us at this point here, but Massa is interesting because we are currently closing the gap on him by about a second and a half per lap here.
Okay, on the monitors we can see that you're locking your rear brakes. It might be a good idea to move your brake balance forward.
And skipping ahead to lap 65 here, the situation remains pretty much the same. The gap down to Ricciardo remains intact. We're matching pace here, and we are closing the gap on Felipe Massa, only about 7 seconds behind him right now, and it's going to be right down to the wire here if we are going to be catching Felipe Massa. Skipping right ahead here to the final lap, lap 70 of the race. Lewis Hamilton takes the win here. Felipe Massa about 5 seconds up the road from us. That is as close as we're going to get. Daniel Ricciardo is going to be putting in a last-ditch effort here, closing the gap to us to about a second and a half here. But as long as we can just keep him out of DRS range here as we come out on the casino straight for the final time today, we should be fine and should have no problems finishing in P4 here. So there you have it, P4 for the Iceman here at Montreal. I gotta say, starting 15th on the grid, finishing in 4th here today. Pretty happy with that one, although I had hoped for a little bit more. I thought we had a fast car here today. I actually thought that had we started a little further up the grid there, maybe in the top 5 or something like that, we would have had a chance of not only finishing on the podium there, but maybe even racing for the win here today. But it matters not. Lewis Hamilton takes this one. Nico Rosberg is 2nd. Felipe Massa rounding off the podium in 3rd.
Goodbye.
As always, guys, if you enjoyed this, please don't forget to leave a like or subscribe to this channel for more F1 2015 action, and I'll be back soon enough. Bye-bye.